Hi again, everyone. We are now doing what will probably be the final video of the open alpha demo for Threshold. In part one, we went through the setup. Part two, we did a bit of overland exploration and questing. And part three, we did a longer combat video. We were doing this quest at pie delivery, our two characters, trying to defeat guards who were guarding berries again for some strange reason. And so we defeated the bandits, thieves rather. There were two of them. And now we're finishing up combat. So again, as a reminder, I finished with 3 cards left for my guardian. I actually didn't end up taking any damage, which is great. Let me just do a little cleanup here. I can put these cards away in my discard. So the interesting thing is when you're done with combat, you just kind of like go, your turn continues. You just go back into the overland phase. So let's see, we're out of the combat rules, and we're now back into this learn to play, which I think, combat end. Yeah. So now we're going to do quest resolution and resting, and then I'll give some final thoughts on all this. So if the quest is, if the combat is completed successfully, yes, flip the quest card. Okay. I keep having this persistent thing about why is the deck up here in this tracker. I'm going to pull this out for a second and see what this looks like. So it looks like there's like a bigger well here, but then it looks like you can stack quests here. So I'm not sure how this is supposed to work in the final game. But we will, just for the purpose of this, we'll pull the top quest out because it wants us to flip them over when we've completed them. So it says flip the quest card, okay. And flip the quest token, which is underneath my person people. Okay, it's a check mark. And the quest card will tell you where the quest is completed, and the quest token should be moved to that location. Interesting. So I think it's back in Hearthstead. For pie delivery, the quest is completed in Hearthstead. So it says here, completed Hearthstead. All right. At any time, if the character is in the same location as a complete quest token, read the conclusion aloud. Apply the rewards listed on the quest card to every character. Only once the conclusion is fully resolved is the quest token removed. Only one character needs to interact with the completed quest token. So your hero needs a break. Instead of walking all the way back, use the teleport action. Discard your entire hand to teleport straight to the capital of the region. So apparently this is an action that you can do. Let's see if we can quickly find this in the rules. I didn't know there was a teleport action. Yeah, we see it there under overworld actions, 17. There's a bunch of stuff. There's crafting, which I have heard of. I don't think it's in this demo, but there is crafting where you can craft items. There's replenish, where you can do affix abilities, replenish by using supplies and minerals, and then teleport. In order to teleport, discard your entire hand, even if there's less than 5 cards, and return to Hearthstead. You may immediately perform the rest action. If all your party members are present in Hearthstead, you can't teleport if there's a mob. So if you're with a mob in your location, you can't teleport. But we don't. So the Guardian can discard the 3 cards here and teleport. So I will pick up the Guardian and move to Hearthstead. Discard your entire hand. If all characters are present at Hearthstead after performing the teleport, you may initiate the rest landmark action for free. So it's going to talk about resting, but it doesn't yet talk about, this is all resting. So here, conclusion and stuff. So it doesn't talk about what you do when you get there. So but it does say, if at any time we're in the location, read the conclusion text. So, excellent, Dren exclaims. These are the most succulent clover berries I've seen in a long time. He looks at your bedraggled gear. I hope you didn't have much trouble gathering them. Here, take a few berries, and come back later when the pies are ready. So, gain quest home invasion. So we now have this quest here that says to defend Hearthstone from invaders. Perhaps this is the level that's recommended, the one there. So this quest says defend Hearthstead from monsters. Dren approaches or asks you to deliver the pies. As you approach the council tent, an argument rages inside. We must protect our homes. So I don't know if I'm supposed to read this until I get here. So I'll just follow the instructions. There's actually a quest token right above Harstead. So this goes away because we completed it, and I'll put it back up here. That I don't know. There's only one here in the. I don't know if all these others are different quest tokens or what. But anyway, I guess that I don't know. Maybe different quests have different quest markers. So we completed the quest, and then at the bottom we get the rewards, which are gain a cube, and it says we all get it, right? Apply the rewards list on the card to every character. Okay, so we each get and I did confirm the color of these cubes. So you see this is kind of a brown cube in the rule book. I think I had it up. And I did before. Let me look here. Yeah, so here on page 35, there's the rarities of the different loot dice. So let's take 2 of these little guys here. And what did I just do? So take 1 to him, and 1 to her, 1 to him. And then the other rewards are 3 coins and 10 XP. So, no XP yet. Let's go to, wait a minute, I got 4 XP for that skill test earlier. So, the Guardian will go up to 14 XP. No, that was plus, I see, that's why this is plus minus. 14 XP. And then the Mystic will have 10 XP. Could have just clicked the 10 down there, but that's okay. And then they both get 2 coins, right? What was that? No, 3 coins. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have the quest rewards. I'm assuming this gets discarded somewhere. So it's tabletop simulator, so I'm not cleaning anything up. So that would be the end of the Guardian's turn because we're out of cards. So the other character, we should have 5 cards. That doesn't. I keep forgetting to do that. So this will mean that they get 4. Then we do the whole reshuffle. Get 1. They get a fatigue. But then they have to discard all these cards. And they could, honestly, like, yeah, why? Whatever. I don't have to teleport. It only costs 2 to get back to Harstead. So I don't know if I'm going to keep playing after this, but the most efficient thing would be to discard cards. And so I'll get rid of, I don't know, Ward of Protection and escaping. Sure. So now this person's here, and the reason I'm doing that is because it says, if all characters are present in Hearthstone after performing the teleport action, you may initiate the rest landmark action for free. So I think there's a rest action here. Where were the actions? Rest should be an overworld action. Rest, combat, reset. Yeah, I don't see it immediately, but it is clearly saying that that if you're in the place that you can rest for free. I think it was earlier in here also. It listed some of the actions that I had rest for free. So here we go. We're going to do the rest action. Do each step as written before moving on to the next. Discard all cards. So, okay, that's why it didn't matter. And they told me to teleport because we're going to discard all cards. Anyway, put those there. And then we discard ongoing adventures. Oh, so shuffle any ongoing adventure cards beside your character will board back into the adventure deck. So this quest that we had to, it's a chest, is now going to go away. Shuffle it back into the adventure deck. Okay. And so this can go away. So lock that I put there. So, as a reminder, before you rest, you want to complete all the ongoing adventures that you can. Set health to maximum. Set fatigue to 0. I like both of those. I'm going to bring this up so I can do this. Stop switching around between. So health goes up to 8. No, we have 6. I never got hit. Okay. That was the enemies that had 8. And I think my wounds were down to 0. I don't think I adjusted this for the Mystic. Then it says set fatigue to 0. So yeah, fatigue goes to 0 for both of them for resting. Remove all status cards. Search your deck for any status cards and remove them. Boon and burden cards are both status cards. Wound cards are not. So yeah, you have to go to the healer to get rid of wounds. But you lose statuses when you rest. Then shuffle your discard pile and cold cards into your cold cards, which we haven't had yet, but shuffle those cards back into, I think you can lose a card for the remainder of the time until you rest. And that's what calling is, if I recall. So those all go back into your deck and you shuffle them. Roll and resolve loot dice. Now here's the interesting thing. I haven't done this yet. So roll each loot die you collected during combat and resolve the results. So let's take these 2 for the Guardian. And if you haven't used Tabletop Simulator a lot, I find the best way to roll dice is to highlight them, and then tap the R key a bunch, which kind of spin until you feel like they've been sufficiently spun, and then let go. Don't just like tap it once. Although that was a horrible randomization because I got C for both. But it may be a good outcome. I get 2 common items. Otherwise, gold would give me gold. Up arrow would give, if you get 2 up arrows, then you can get a higher tier die and roll it immediately. So if I got 2 up arrows on both those C's, then I would roll a higher tier. Or re-roll 1 die of that tier. So you can also re-roll a different one. Collect any items you gain. So I get 1 common item is the outcome of this. I'm guessing I get a random one. So I'll shuffle this deck and draw one. What is it? It is, aged chainmail. I already have armor. This gives me resilience. Collect any items, place them directly into my inventory. Okay. I have not studied the inventory yet to know, I already have an armor. I don't know what happens to the extra one, if there's extra space for items or whatever. So anyway, I got an old aged chainmail for the Guardian, which seems thematically fitting. And then for the Mystic, we'll roll the 2 dice here. And that is a arrow and a C. So the arrow doesn't do anything unless I have 2 up arrows. And it says combine them and roll it immediately, or re-roll 1 die of that tier. If you roll another up arrow on the re-roll, you cannot re-roll it again, but may still combine it later. So I think what it's saying is, like, I can use this arrow to re-roll this other C, and if I get another up arrow, then I can combine it, but I can't use that other up arrow to do anything. So, okay, so instead of a common item, I got 2 quants, which is probably the worst result. So yeah, may have gotten not a great result in those dice. It doesn't say to remove the dice, but I'm guessing that's what you do. You then back up in the... It's an interesting system, I guess. A little bit of loot randomization with a very small amount of strategy. Don't know how I feel about it. It's cute, though. Update equipment. Equip items onto your board. You may have up to 1 weapon, 1 armor, 2 accessories equipped at a time. Replace or swap. What's the difference between replace and swap? Those seem like the same thing to me. So this doesn't answer the question of what if I have overflow. Deal with that later. Level up. You're currently level 0 and have earned 10 XP. Refer to your character sheet and see the XP cost. So we can see your, I don't know why this doesn't say 1. It has this symbol, but I guess that's to show the level. So for your character sheet, it's 10. Reduce your XP by XP dial by 10. So this one will go down to 4. So we can do, I don't know. Yeah. So right click to reduce. No. Enter. Negative numbers. So minus 20. Got it. And then reduce this one by 10. So they both leveled up. and reduce my XP, indicate or increase your health and wound according to the character sheet. So I can see here there are health and wounds underneath the different levels. So that increases your health and wounds. So I don't know, max wounds. I guess that's a thing. Max wounds appears to be 1. That it didn't tell me how to set that up. I'm assuming that's deeper in the rules. So you can get further max wounds from the level ups. Anyway, I won't dive into that too much. Let's see, update my character deck. The deck evolves, you gain class points and skill points. Let's click these. Yeah, so that's indicating that we are done with that level. We're level 2. You gain 1 class point per character level. You may spend class points to add character cards to your deck. Select a 1 CP class card from your class set and shuffle it into your character deck. So you can see here on the bottom of the card, there's the CP cost. Let's just do that real quick. I'll grab something somewhat random. It says add 1 CP class card. So yeah, these are not class cards. These are skill cards based on the various skills. And here are the 2 classes decks. So yeah, I mean, I could probably spend a lot of time looking through here. Let's see if there's something really obvious that's 1. We have Pesky Ping again, Ethereal Shield, Precognitive Vision. Just seeing how many there are. So those are these 4, just Pesky Ping, Ethereal Shield, and Precognitive Vision. Precognitive Vision reveals up to 5 cards from your deck, discard any number, place the rest back in any order, and then draw 1. I mean, it seems good. Like, it just does its own thing. It's free, and then you draw another one. So I don't have it, so why not? So I basically put this into my deck, a little bit of deck building, and the Guardian. Let's see what the Guardian has. We have Dash, which we've seen already. Dash, Martial Prowess. Add a melee or shield card from your discard pile to your hand. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, sure. I like those type of ones. Like, why not? It does. Yeah, it costs 0. So those ones seem like no-brainers to me. Okay, so I did that evolving of getting 1 class card for leveling up. And then we add skill points. Add up the skill icons on your equipped items and class reference board to determine the total SP for each skill. For example, if your equipped ring and shield both show Aegis 1, you have 2 Aegis skill points. You may spend skill points to add skill cards to your deck. Okay, I see. So as I noted before, we have 2 Bladecraft skills. This is okay. So actually, yeah, they didn't explain this, but these are my innate skills. 1 Bladecraft, 1 Aegis, 1 Momentum. And then I get 1 more Bladecraft from Splintered Sword. So I'm actually 2 Bladecraft and 2 Aegis. And then similar with the Mystic, 2 Nature and 2 Ward Weaving. 2 Nature, 2 Ward Weaving. And that's why I have 2 Ward Weaving and 2 Nature cards, etc. in my deck, because so basically if I swapped out this Mail for the shield, I would lose an Aegis card, but I would get a Resilience card. Okay. And yeah, so it says if they both have Aegis 1, you have 2 skill points. You may spend skill points to add skill cards to your deck. If you equipped any new items, you may choose any combination of skill cards whose SP is equal to or less than your available skill points. So SP costs. So if I were to equip that armor, for example, if I look at Resilience, we have like Endurance is an SP1 card here. And then it's kind of weird. Why do I have that in my deck when I don't have any Resilience to starting out with, unless I remember something incorrectly? So yeah, or you can get like SP2 cards, etc. Yeah, Resilience. Didn't I? Oh, never mind. the Mystic had resilience. So yeah, I could get that nice endurance card for the, instead of a defense card, I could have the resilience card. Interesting. Okay. It doesn't say, like, when you remove something. Yeah, it doesn't say that here, but I'm assuming that's how it works, that if you remove an item, that you have to remove cards that, adjust your deck to your new values. Like if I remove the shield, I would have one fewer Aegis, and I would have to remove one of those cards, I'm guessing. So perform 3 landmark actions. You may perform any number of landmark actions in Hearthstone without spending cards. You may perform any number of landmark actions without spending cards. Interesting. So when you rest, you can do as much as you want in the town. So go to Vocation Square. We could go to the Ugly Pumpkin Tavern. There's Old Abe's Barrels where there's a dungeon. The market. Oh, rest is here in Hearthstone. So it actually has the list here. Perform any number of landmark actions for free. So it's kind of cool. I mean, normally if you're just kind of like moving through town, you need to spend cards to do all this stuff. But when you're resting, everybody can just kind of like, I was complaining earlier, like, why can't we just both go to the healer? But when you rest, then all party members are here, and you can just kind of have a phase where everybody's doing stuff in town. And then you draw 5 new cards. I don't know if I'm going to do any landmark actions, but yeah, I probably, we're about to reach the end, so I will not do that part. I'll do that kind of off camera. If I keep playing this, I'll maybe do some landmark actions and draw my cards. And then we reset the region. When every character has finished their in rest, reset the Heartland Prairies, remove all mob tokens and depleted tokens from the region board. There won't be any on the region board yet. And then place new mob tokens on their starting spaces according to the region book setup. So we didn't do that for this tutorial, but that was what I pointed out in the region book setup, is that in the region book at the start, I think it was this one, yeah, you're going to see mob things here. So we would place these mob tokens as seen to the right. And I don't think the tutorial demos it, but I believe these mobs will I think it said it in the enemy phase or something. They'll like move around and come towards you and attack you. So you kind of, every time that you rest, it's like isn't it Dark Souls and some of those video games, every time you rest, like all the enemies regenerate. And that's sort of the consequence for you going back and resting. It's an interesting mechanic because, well, yeah, I'm probably going to forget this at the end of my final thoughts. But one thing that I have a challenge with these type of open world games and how they sort of incentivize you to move forward and things is they'll often put a timer in place. So it's like an open world game, but think of games like Sleeping Gods and stuff where there's just literally a turn timer where the game will end at a certain number of turns. So how do you have a game that incentivizes you to keep moving and not just like grind or rest or whatever constantly? And so it's interesting. It seems like they looked at games like Dark Souls where the way they incentivize you to not just constantly go back and rest is all the monsters come back. So I kind of like that because it's more of a trade-off. You can decide how often you want to like go back to town and rest. And aside from the, you losing adventures you might have drawn, there's no particular timer, at least not yet. There might obviously be some that come up. It's just there's a consequence to you resting, which I prefer. Like actions have consequences, not there's just a you lose or a timer thing on there. So anyway, I kind of like that. Reset the region, place new mob things. You now know the core flow of Threshold. Explore the overworld, spend cards to act, face enemies in tactical combat, and return to town to recover and grow stronger. Every card you add to your deck and every memory you create pushes your hero story forward. At this point, you should have the home invasion quest from Tren. Make this your next focus. Prepare to defend the city from the monsters pressing at its gates. Completing this quest will unlock new opportunities across the Heartland Prairies and show you how quests drive the campaign forward. Your legend has begun. Gather your allies, draw your hands, and step into the fight. Haven is waiting for its heroes. All right, so that is the end of the demo. Or rather, the end of the Learn to Play. There's actually quite a bit of content in here. We'll see if I continue doing it, but there's, 27 quests here. There's 32 adventure cards. There's even some crafting, it looks like here. Some of these craft your stuff. There's all these different skills and boons and burdens and stuff just for these 2 classes. So there's a good amount more here to like kind of explore the flow. I didn't do anything with this track down here. I'm not sure what this is for. There's a bunch of stuff that I haven't done. There's the threshold gate. We've seen there's dungeons. There's different map tiles. I guess maybe these are the dungeons. They look big. So what do I think? If you watched any of my other videos, you would know that I am a role-playing first gamer. I really appreciate sort of flexible open world games where you're exploring a world and discovering stuff about that world. I know ahead of time, there's been I've had like kind of two frames of thought on this game. One is like, okay, it seems to be attempting to give a sort of more casual friendly, or at least fast play friendly experience of an open world game. That to me is a good thing. The idea that you can sit down to an open world game and play a single session and have meaningful progression and stuff like that is actually pretty rare. There's games like Lands of Galzir that are friendly to it, but where you can sort of swap people in at any point and stuff. But that game was completely lacking in any sort of meaningful progression. And that's usually the thing that is this trade-off. If you have like a fast playing kind of drop in at any point open world game, it's hard to figure out how to have that progress and have it not just be like a big campaign. How do you express more complex concepts like combat and questing and stuff in a way that is friendly to an open, to a short form format? So that part of this was what intrigued me about it and why I kept looking at it. Honestly, all their stuff of like, this is like an MMO on the table. And like at one point they said something about MOBAs. I don't know. They just kept like throwing out buzzwords, I think, to draw in more people. And that was a bit frustrating for me. Like the comparisons with World of Warcraft, I just don't want to play World of Warcraft off my table. I honestly don't think this necessarily feels like World of Warcraft. This combat doesn't feel like anything like World of Warcraft. But, you know, they're using that. I don't know. Maybe that's their marketing team. For me, it actually turned me off. But if I put all that together, and by the way, this is Open Owl Studios. They have a history of games like Mythwind and Stars of Icarios, and more recently Storybook. What's it called? Storybook something. It's sort of like a storybook game, but it actually turned out to be more tactful than thought. So they seem to do a lot of these kind of like system-y games with some themey that's a little bit approachable. I know Mythwind had some criticisms leveled at it, so I wasn't sure really what to think coming in. I'll just say, like, my bias, I was coming in prepared to not like this game because I'm like, deck building, I don't usually like deck building. I'm not a big like Slay the Spire person. You know, it's just not the way my brain works, like figuring out how to build the optimal deck. I'm just more of a thematic gamer. So that part is not, or having like a market deck that you're buying from to do deck building. It's not usually my jam. All this, like the crafting, like I just was like, I was thinking of a lot of games like Icefairing Guard, which I also bounced off of. Games that just don't really focus on the experience of moving through a world, exploring, etc. I will say, I had a better time than I expected. The combat is snappy. It seems like there's a decent amount of, I like that there's like this little movement mechanic here that combines with the cards. There was a little bit of thinkiness, like, do I discard this? Do I play it? But it played really fast. And even with controlling two players or two characters, I like zipped through. I think Mike on the One Stop Co-op Shop played it with one character, and it seemed to work fine too. I mean, it's even in the build setup. If you have one character, there's one thief. So it seems really like forgiving with the number of players that you're playing with. I like that people can be off doing their own thing, or they can come join your combat. I was a bit skeptical of the idea of like the turn structure is always the same and it's like really simple, like just play your cards to do things. And, but I kind of feel like it works, at least in terms of keeping it simple. So in the end, like, where am I at? Like, does this beat out for me my bigger open world games like Tainted Grail or the upcoming Story of Many or these? I don't think so. I mean, this is one of my criticisms that I still haven't had resolved yet, is like, does the story actually go anywhere? Is this world anything more than just like, it was one of my criticisms for like Iridia, which is that the world to me felt just very generic. Like, I had no real interest in learning about that world. I didn't feel like there was anything there worth learning about. That's just my personal opinion. Where other games like Tainted Grail, it's like a really detailed world that I'm playing the game to discover. This one, I don't know if it's going to get there. But in the end, does that matter? Again, I don't know if I would buy this to play single player, to like grind up my character and, do these little quests and wander around the world. Maybe. Sometimes it's nice to just have a game that you can play in under an hour. But I think where this game sings is there are very few games, and I'm really open to these type of games where you can take a more casual group of players, people that, maybe they play only World of Warcraft, or they don't have a lot of context for this type of thing. They're not going to sit around and listen to a lot of story and stuff, but they just want to sit down, have a good time, play for an hour or two, and go on some quests and stuff. And I totally respect that. Like, the idea that I can sit down with more casual people and come out at the end having told a little story and have some progression. And hypothetically, I don't know, drop in, drop out, but it seems like it'd be pretty easy to do that. Like, if one person comes by 1 week, they can grab a character and play. I assume there's like a level up to match thing when characters drop in later. It's pretty appealing. So I don't know. I feel like if their goal was to create a quick with a little bit of complexity, but thematic complexity, I really like that your equipment sort of dictates your stats, and your stats dictate the build of your deck. So it's not like you're constantly just getting fed new cards and having to make that, like, that's something Slay the Spire does. It constantly gives you new cards. So there's a lot of focus on like tuning your deck. This is more like Earthborn Rangers and stuff, where like a thing happens, but thematically, like you get a new item, or you level up or something like that, and a card gets added to your deck, and it's a distinct decision at that point of like, okay, I'm going to grab a new class card. Do I want to, so it's thematically bound, and it's a discrete decision. And as you're playing a lot more to like Slay the Spire. You're getting used to what's working well in your deck, what you enjoy and what you don't. And so that idea of, also, yeah, they've removed the like culling stuff from your deck. I never really liked that. That's just me again. Like, oh, I have to do an action so that I can pull a card out of my deck to cull it down, so I can make sure I get the more of the cards that I want. No, like that's too meta for me. For me, I just want to build the deck that represents what my character is, which this seems to be going toward. Like, in the end, the way you would get fewer cards is you buy more expensive cards, like more expensive class point cards. So you might trade out 2 or 3 weaker cards for like a big, heavier card. I like that. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm coming out pleasantly surprised here. There's more that I haven't seen. I think this could be really fun with a few people just sitting down and having a more casual sort of whole loop of an open world game, going out, exploring, questing, leveling up your dude. I dig it. I mean, I don't know if I would pay like $200, $300 for this, because it's not one of those big epic quest games, but I think they're targeting, from what I'm seeing, something in the like 100 or low 100 range for a core box of this. I'm tempted. It really comes to like, would I have enough opportunities to sit down with more casual folks and play through something like this? But I don't have a lot of this type of game on my shelf. So yeah, color me changed. I came in skeptical and coming out pleasantly surprised. Well, I hope that was helpful. Hopefully this gets people also into the Tabletop Simulator demo to give this a try. And it's actually looks like a pretty generous demo to keep playing. And the campaign, from the time I'm recording, I think starts in about a week. I'll try to put the GameFab link down in the description, and hopefully this was helpful. Feel free to correct me if you saw anything I did wrong, or offer any comments, and happy to respond with your thoughts down below. All right. Thanks, everybody. See y'all later.